So in the next this next video, I alluded to the fact that we're going to have a little bit of an exercise, a little bit of a challenge in this lecture, and so we added this calories field to the model, and we added it to the form. So now I'm going to challenge you to try and add this field to the tree view. In other words, if I click on this tree view, we want to see the calories out here as well. So notice how we have our cost, our volume, gross rate, internal categories, product type. We want to add calories to the tree view the same way that it was added to the form view. And it's much of the process is the same. So I'm going to challenge you to pause the video now and attempt on your own to see if you can add that field, that calories field, to your tree view. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video and tried at least to add the field to the tree view. If you didn't and you weren't successful, don't get discouraged. It's still new, and that's why we're gonna do this several times so it gets reinforced. And I'm gonna show you how to do it now. So one way to do this is, notice that we're already on the tree view. If I go up here under our debug mode, we have an edit tree view. And if I hit edit tree view, we're down here under our architecture, just like for our form. We're going to see what makes up our tree view, the different columns. So one way, I like to use copy and paste a lot. So I'm going to actually just select this. I'm going to hit Control-C to make a copy. Hit Enter to get another line and space over. And then I hit Control-V to paste. And now I can put X calories in there just like that. And hit save. And this works because you'll notice up here, object product.template. So it's pulling that field that we added to our model. We're getting to reuse it. We only had to add it once to the model. Now we can use it in different views. And if I click products and click on our tree view, notice there's our calories. And you'll also notice that it's automatically sortable, because it's actually stored in the database. So there's also a way to make it so that this particular calories can be summed up at the bottom and totaled at the bottom of your tree view, inside of a tree view. So why don't we see how to do that? So right now you'll notice that under calories there's no total. Now you might not need this really for different products, but if you searched for them and you wanted to see them, I'm just going to show you how you can total this up real quick. So you can see how there's a few other little things you can change on the tree view. So if I change this, edit this tree view, and I go here to calories, I can say sum equals total calories. And this is basically an attribute. This is called an attribute for our field name that's going to tell Odoo that I want to sum this up and have a total column called total calories. And if I shift refresh, I'm holding down my shift key and telling it to reload. You'll see that now we have a total for our calories inside of our product list. This will be more useful once we add additional things to our application when we're summing up like total calories in a meal and things like this. But what you've learned here is a couple of things. You've learned how to first of all add to a form, and it's important to realize that the order matters. So if I wanted the calories above this internal reference, I can go up here, I can edit the form view, And it does make you hit enter. It doesn't give you a lot of space here, but you can make it work. And I can cut this from here and paste it above our default code, for example. And so now when I save this back and I shift refresh, I can use that shift refresh again. Calories will now be above our internal references. So you're seeing how to get the control and where you position things matters. It's also important to realize that these form views and looking at them through this way is a way for you to get good insight into the Odoo framework. So you might be wondering, hey, how do I do this in my application? I want to do this certain thing. Well, one of the best ways you can learn how to do that is first find somewhere else in Odoo where that's already being done. And so just to take another little visit at the edit form view and hit enter down here, you'll notice things that start to stick out. Like, for example, field name equals type, position equals after. So let's ask ourselves what this means. Again, I'm assuming that that people that are using this video may have not programmed before, may not understand XML. So we're going a little bit slower here and explaining what every little bit of this is. But what this is basically saying is it's looking for a field named type, and that it wants to position after that these fields. So let's see what that looks like when we go back to our view here. Notice how this says product type, and if I mouse over it, notice under field, right there at the top, it says type. So literally what is happening in this form view is it already knows that product type is available on this form. It's already there from a form that it's inheriting from. And that's another concept we'll work on, but you'll notice here, inherited view, that we have another view here. So this is taking a common template, a common product template, this particular view, and it's extending it with everything you see here. And in order for it to decide where to put these things, notice how it's positioned them after type. If I wanted them before this, I can actually come in here and say before, hit save. And again, as part of this kind of exercise, I want you to kind of imagine, what do you expect to happen by this change? So, pause the video for a second. If you have to think about it a little bit, I'll bring it back up. Look what I've changed this from being type position after to type position before. So this is the way it looks before I made that change. And now let's see what it looks like afterwards. Notice how product type is now down here. Calories has magically popped to the top. Why did it do that? Well, it did that because I told the Odoo framework that I don't want it to position X calories after my type field. I want it positioned before the type field, but not just that one. All of these are going to be that way. So you get a lot of control here. And just so you can understand completely how this works, I'm going to end off the field here and make another for after. So what this means is that we'll have the calories at the top, then after the type, we'll have our default code and our barcode. I save it, shift refresh, and it'll be just like I described. We're going to have calories at the top, then our product type, then our internal reference and barcode. So we learned here in this form view not only how we can add fields that we've added to our models, we've also seen how we can reposition them and using this syntax of finding a field. First, this is like finding it, then saying we want to position either after or before it certain things. Now, here's an interesting one. We can actually get rid of the product type. You say, no way. Yeah, way. Is it? Maybe we can't. We're not going to go there because it's a required field. But we can suppress fields the same way by using the replace instead of before and after. But we'll talk about that later. So I think that's a good place to wrap this video up. We've learned how to add a field to a tree view, but we also learned how to go back into our form view and reposition the fields in orders that we want them in, and use the position attribute to decide whether we want to position our new fields before or after a given field on a form.